Blake Thompson and Anastasia Goodman will be reading from the classic ghost novel, The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I love hecklers. No live organism can continue for long to exist sanely under conditions of absolute reality. Even larks and katydids are supposed, by some, to dream. Hill House, not sane, stood by itself against its hills, holding darkness. Within it had stood so for 80 years, and might stand for 80 more. Within, walls continued upright, bricks met neatly, floors were firm, and doors were sensibly shut. Silence lay steadily against the wood and stone of the Hill House, and whatever walked there, walked alone. Dr. John Montague was a doctor of philosophy. He had taken his degree in anthropology, feeling obscurely that in this field he might come closest to his true vocation, the analysis of supernatural manifestations. He was scrupulous about the use of his title because his investigations being so utterly unscientific, he hoped to borrow an air of respectability, even scholarly authority, from his education. It had cost him a good deal in money and pride, since he was not a begging man to rent Hill House for 3 months, but he expected absolutely to be compensated for his pains by the sensation following up on the publication of his definitive work on the causes and effects of psychic disturbances in a house commonly known as haunted. He had been looking for an honestly haunted house all his life. When he heard of Hill House, he had been at first doubtful, then hopeful, then indefatigable. He was not the man to let go of Hill House once he had found it. Dr. John Montague's intentions with regard to Hill House derived from the methods of the intrepid 19th century ghost hunters. He was going to go and live in Hill House and see what happened there. It was his intention at first to follow the example of the anonymous lady who went to stay at Bellishin House and ran a summer-long house party for skeptics and believers, with croquet and ghost watching as the outstanding attractions. But skeptics, believers, and good croquet players are harder to come by today. Dr. John Montague was forced to engage in assistance. Perhaps the leisurely ways of Victorian life lent themselves more agreeably to the devices of psychic investigation, or perhaps the painstaking documentation of phenomena has largely gone out as a means of determining actuality. At any rate, Dr. Montague had not only to engage assistance, but to search for them. And one of the assistants was a 32-year-old woman named Eleanor Vance, looking for something, anything, to save her from her suffocating, spinsterish life, and instead finding Hill House.